Peace and greetings, dear family. A reading from the book of John, chapter 1, verse 1 through 5. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. The same was in the beginning with God." Verse 3, "All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made." Verse 4, "In him was life, and the life was the light of men." Was the light of men? Well, let's not forget, everything in this world has been twisted to make us believe in something else in a whole lot of ways. So when it says, verse 4, "In him was life, and the life was the light of men," and then you think about the Star-Spangled Banner, what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming. What do you mean, what so proudly we held at their last gleaming? So that means you put their light out, huh? Then you call them twilight. And the light in us is just as brilliant as the sun, but you call it a twilight, a little twinkle. Take those words however you like to. Verse 5, "And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not." Book of John, chapter 1, verse 1 through 5. Three things I want to talk about in this video. First, the reverse chakra numbering hierarchy. I want to talk about that in this video right here. That's the first thing. The second thing I want to talk about, the 7 levels of consciousness. And the third thing I want to talk about, or at least these things that I'm mentioning for this point here that I'm about to put in this video, I'm just going to draw from them. And the third thing I want to talk about, the 7 mental faculty senses, mental faculties. Everything that comes from the mind is cosmic because the mind itself is cosmic. Mental faculty senses. So I want to talk about those things, right? Now, before I go on, take this phrase with you however you'd like to. The first thing that happens in any scenario will always be the most effective thing of every situation. The very first thing that happened in any scenario, internal scenario, scenario, thoughts first. The first thing that happened in any scenario will always play out to be the most effective thing in every situation. External, situation, external, situation. So, why do I say that though? Now the three things, I'm about to just incorporate them into the point that I really want to land home here. The first thing, the chakra hierarchy flip, right? Why do I say a chakra hierarchy flip? I want you to think about this for a second. Now, when we look at the original chakra hierarchy, it says the root chakra is first, the sacral chakra is second, the solar plexus chakra is third, the heart chakra is fourth, the throat chakra is fifth, the third eye chakra is sixth, and the crown chakra is seventh. But then when you step deeper into the information, you find out there's an 8th chakra. There's a soul star chakra. Right? Meaning the 8th one is the soul star chakra. Now, when I say a chakra hierarchy numbering flip, I'm talking about take the first one and move it to the 8th one, and then take the 8th one and move it to the bottom one. What was the first one, you see? Now let's count that in order right quick. The first one being the soul star chakra, the beginning. The second one being the crown chakra, the para nirvana field. The third one being the third eye chakra, the light of the world, the sun. The fourth one being the throat chakra. The fifth one, no examples needed. The fifth one being the heart chakra. The sixth one being the sacral chakra, being the solar plexus chakra. The sixth one, let me restart it. Soul Star. It's hard to do it like this because it's not normal. You see what I'm saying? We're not used to it. We're used to it being root first and then crown last. And since I got the Soul Star knowledge, I'm used to the Soul Star being the 8th one and not the first one. But here, Soul Star chakra first, crown second, third eye third, Vishuddha 4th, heart 5th, solar plexus 6th, sacral 7th, and then root, the physical plane, the 8th one. Let's keep that in mind right quick before I go in. I just wanted to say that before I go in, right? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh. And the light from the Word was in the flesh. The first thing that happened in a scenario internally will always be the most effective in a situation. So now, meaning the Soul Star became flesh. The Soul Star became flesh. The soul became flesh. The soul became flesh. Spiritual incarnation. When you look at the hierarchy, the chakra hierarchy correctly, or from my revelation perspective, because let's not forget, I always thought that the root chakra was first in as well. Now, according to my revelation, the root chakra is the 8th one. You can believe it if you want to, though. I'm just going to believe it for right now, or I'm just going to kick it around and, just mess around with it a bit to see, like, when the information gets to the world, how will they react to it, or how will they respond to it? Responding is internal, reacting is external. Scenarios internal, situation external. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh. Do I want to say the soul was the beginning, the first word in the beginning? No, that's not necessarily what I want to say. It's just the energy that makes the soul what it is. That was first, according to what I believe. You can believe whatever you want, though. And that energy became flesh. Energy became flesh. Spirit soul is energy. The spirit soul is energy. Positive energy. Positive balance energy. The spirit soul is positive balance energy. The spirit soul is positive balance energy. The soul is always positive, and the spirit is always balanced. Positive balance energy became flesh. Positive balance energy became flesh. That's what I'm getting at. Now here, the second thing. Like I said, I'm just going to incorporate it all before I move forward towards what I really want to talk about here. The second thing. The 7 levels of consciousness. The 7 levels of consciousness. Soul became flesh. Soul became self. Soul became self. Soul became self. Spirit soul became self. All right. Now take that with you. Now check this out. The second thing, the 7 levels of consciousness. Now I had the revelation, or not necessarily the revelation, but the kind of reminder of how the 9-dimensional hierarchy, the 9-dimensional thinking mind hierarchy is set up. Now always keep this with you in mind. Self is always the first angle and or measurement of the spiritual dimension. Self is always the first measurement and or angle of the spiritual dimension. It is always the first thing you see. It is always the first thing you comprehend. It is always the first thing you look at. Everybody has 7 bodies. We can only see the physical body. The physical body is the first thing that you always see. I just threw that 7 bodies in there. It has nothing to do with this video. I just threw that 7 bodies line in there. But self is always the first angle you see. Now here's the thing. There are 8 more angles and or 8 more dimensions you can see after self. But self is always the first one out of 8. So that will make 9 in total, right? 9-dimensional thinking mind, right? So keep that with you in mind real quick. The 7 levels of consciousness, the 7 levels of consciousness. This is where I'm getting at here. Consciousness, meaning spiritual dimension. From right now, what I can see personally as one being by myself, there are 9 different angles I can see in. And the first one is always self. What are the other 8? Up, down, left, right. 4 right there. Up, down, left, right, side to side, in and out. Up, down. The side to side is left to right. I made a mistake. So front and backwards is the last 2. Front, directly in front of you, situation externally, and what's behind you, Satan. Get behind me, Satan. Those are the last 2 right there. Get behind me. Get behind me are the last 2. Or one front and one behind me is the last 2 angles to see in. So once again, it's self first. That's the first angle. And then the other 8 angles are what's above, what's below, what's internal, what's external, what's to the left, what's to the right, what's directly in front of you, and what's directly behind you. You see, those are the 9 angles to see in. That's what makes up a 9-dimensional thinking mind right there. And a 9-dimensional thinking mind is an aspect of the crown chakra. This is what I ultimately wanted to get at. The 9-dimensional thinking mind is an aspect of the crown chakra. Meaning your divine vision is how you see in a 9-dimensional thinking mind. This is how you see properly in a 9-dimensional thinking mind. Now, the other examples, or what is an example? Before I go through it, I'm gonna just list this off real quick. So the 9-dimensional thinking mind is an aspect of the crown chakra. The 8-dimensional thinking mind is an aspect of the third eye chakra. The 7-dimensional thinking mind is an aspect of the throat chakra. The 6-dimensional thinking mind is an aspect of the heart. Did you notice the heart chakra has a hexagram in its image? Whenever you take a look at the heart chakra, it has a hexagram in its image. What is the hexagram? A hexagram has 6 angles on it, right? Or it's just 2 triangles stacked on top of each other. It's just 2 different triangles stacked on top of each other. But the 2 triangles, each of those triangles has 3 points, right? 3 angles to see. 3 angles to see. And both of those triangles stacked on top of each other creates a sacred geometric symbol, or a sacred geometric symbol that shows an image of 6 points, an image with 6 points on it. You see what I'm saying? So the heart chakra, the 6-dimensional thinking mind, is an aspect of the heart chakra. And if you look at the heart chakra's image, you'll notice there's a hexagram in the picture. And a hexagram has 6 angles, 6 points to represent and to let you know that it does have that aspect, a part of it, the 6-dimensional thinking mind. The hexagram represents the 6-dimensional thinking mind as well. That's another thing it represents. Moving forward. So now, the 5-dimensional thinking mind. This is of the solar plexus chakra, the 4-dimensional thinking mind, the first step into the astral realm, or the first step into the awareness of the astral realm. And how can you take your first step into the astral realm? The example that I'm going to give with the other one soon. Here's an example, the 4 major emotions that I've been telling you about. The 4 major emotions. What are the 4 major emotions? What are the 4 major emotional standards? Add the word standard in there. The 4 major emotional standards. What's good? What's balanced? What's evil? And what's stagnant? What's good? What's balanced? What's evil? And what's stagnant? And then finally, the 3-dimensional thinking mind space, which is also the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd-dimensional thinking mind space, the root chakra. The 3rd-dimensional thinking mind space, the 2nd-dimensional thinking mind space, and the 1st-dimensional thinking mind space are all aspects of the root chakra. And the 1st-dimensional thinking mind space is self. The 1st-dimensional thinking mind space is self. And then all the other ones add to it, to the top. I want to throw that in there real quick. And now the 3rd one. Before I go on, I'm going to just put some examples in for the 9-dimensional thinking mind space, or for the 9-dimensional all the way down to the 3. What are some examples of the 3-dimensional thinking mind space? What's an example of a 3-dimensional thinking mind space? A 3-dimensional thinking mind view, or a 3-view mind, or 3-view thinking mind, because let's not forget, a dimension is a measurement, and a dimension, what's dimensional means measurement. And or what it means is an aspect, feature, and or element of a situation, problem, or thing. What's an aspect, feature, or situation, or what's an aspect, feature, or element of you? Do you know? I know them all now, and I look forward to telling you every detail of them, because I know the soul liberation it'll bring globally once you all learn these things. Moving forward, though. So what's an example of a 3-dimensional thinking mind? Or what's an example of a 3-view thinking mind space? What's an example of it? Thoughts, feelings, actions. Or you could, to summarize it even more, to give you an example of what it is more, you could say it like this. The 3 physical, you could just make it up, the 3 physical viewpoints, the 3 plane viewpoints. You can just say whatever you want, however you want to say it. But it's mind, heart, body, thoughts, feelings, actions, spirit, soul, flesh, meaning that's the only thing you can see is self. What self is entirely. Yeah, that's how you can simplify it. You can see only what the physical self is entirely. That's all you can see. You can't see nothing beyond that point. All you can see is the physical self. This is what it means to operate in the three-dimensional thinking mind space only. All you can see is self. What is self? Thought, feeling, action, spirit, soul, flesh. That's what self is. Moving forward. So what's an example of a four-dimensional thinking mind space? The first step into the astral realm, awareness of the four major emotional standards. From what I'm gathering here, awareness of the four major emotional standards, which are what's good, what's balanced, what's evil, and what's stagnant. That's an example of a four-dimensional thinking mind. All of these things that I am telling you right now is just information that our ancestors left out here for us to have to know ourselves better. Because like I said, when I first started going in, I didn't even know all the way through and through what I was telling you all. I do now. I actually knew it. It's just I knew that the four-dimensional thinking mind aspect was something you all were missing. And it just so happens and it turns out that our women, our sisters, been able to tap into this mindset without even letting us know. They've just been programmed to use it against us. So harlots, they just been programmed to use it against us. That's all. They can break free from it. It's called a resurrection. Moving forward. So five-dimensional thinking mind, the higher mind, the first step into the conscious mind's awareness. Because the sacral is the first step into the subconscious awareness, and the solar plexus will be the first step into the conscious mind's awareness. You see, it always goes in that same three a lot. It goes in that same three motion a lot. It goes from the body to the sub to the conscience. It goes from the body to the subservient conscious mind to the regular conscious mind. It just keeps doing that. It does that a lot within the hierarchies that I'm thinking of right now, that I'm telling you about. It does that a lot. It just starts from the body to the heart and then to the mind. It just keeps doing that three pattern. It keeps repeating in that three quite a lot. It repeats that three quite a lot. You can take that with you as well. So the first step into the astral realm, or the first step into the awareness of the subconscious mind, and then the solar plexus is the first step of awareness into the conscious mind, the regular mind, five-dimensional. What's an example of a five-dimensional thinking mind? See, it used to be that four, and then the ability to explain it, but now it's like with the revelations, what's recent, it's actually hard to see what would be a good example of a five-dimensional thinking mind. Because if it ain't the four with the ability to explain it fluently, then what is it? Maybe that's what it is, because it's all hooked up. And then you have the example of a six-dimensional thinking mind, the heart chakra, full awareness of what your feelings are now. Remember, your heart chakra is untouched, unhurt, and unbeaten. And that's where your feelings stem from. That's where your foundational source of power for your feelings stem from. Your sense of feeling, your literal sense of feeling comes from the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is always good. So that means whatever feeling outside of the heart chakra was made up. You should think of it like this. Darkness has no way to get inside that 6 diameter paragraph, or that 6 diameter geometric symbol there. Think of the sign like that versus looking at it as something evil because it's 2 triangles stacked on top of each other and the oppressive body told you to feel like it was evil. Remember, all your feelings are made up. This should prove it right here. Your heart chakra was untouched, unhurt, unbeaten, and that's where your feelings even come from in the first place. Whatever plays the first scenario, whatever is the first thing that happened in any scenario will be the most important thing of every situation. Will be the most effective of every situation. Your feelings are first. Your feelings were here first. But what are your feelings? An emotion, your natural instinctive state of mind, deriving from one's instinctive or intuitive spirit and soul. The power that's inside of you, serving you for the good. Why can't you serve you like the energy in you serves you? Moving forward. 7-dimensional thinking mind. What's an example of the 7-dimensional thinking mind now? An example of the 7-dimensional thinking mind, the 7 deadly sins. Wrath, greed, gluttony, lust, pride, envy, sloth. That's just an example. It's just how you can see 7 ways or 8 ways or 9 ways. It's just ways to see outside of yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's primarily what the dimensional thinking mind aspects are, or dimensional thinking mind information is. How many ways can you see outside of yourself? According to the information our ancestors put out here, it's about 8 ways to see outside of self. 8 more different ways. 7-dimensional thinking mind. The directions. As above, so below. As within, so throughout. I'm going to just talk it into throughout. I ain't going to do it without yet. No, as within, so without. No, ain't no without. It's throughout. Like, that's how I see it for right now, because of what I'm trying to talk you all into becoming for me, my family globally, moving forward. So, as within, so throughout. The soul is going to take over your minds. The soul is going to take control. It is. It's going to do it. God will have his world moving forward. And then knowledge of good, knowledge of evil. 6 directions right there. And what's directly in front of you, or just self, would be the 7th one there. That would be a 6 into a with a self angle direction, 7 in total. 7-dimensional nines. 7-dimensional mind is of the throat chakra. Oh, look at that. It's an aspect of the throat chakra, right? So that means the ability to label and describe all 7 of the artificial spirits themselves. That's how you can see it as well. Yeah. Moving forward. What's an example of the 8-dimensional thinking mind? The 8-dimensional the 7-dimensional thinking mind, you can see it as the Merkaba, by the way. Because the Merkaba has 7 points right there. It has 7 points to see. But then if you put yourself inside of the Merkaba, it'll be an 8-dimensional point. But if you leave self out of the picture and just keep the points there, then you'll see your weapon as a 7-dimensional thinking mind. But always include self, though. Always include self. So whatever angle you see, like the Merkaba, for example, if you include self into that 7 diameter angle, it'll be an 8-dimensional thinking mind aspect for you to see versus the 7 angle that it is. If you include self. Self is always the first angle. Always. Always count self. Always. It's the first angle, no matter what. First measurement to see. You. Moving forward. 7-dimensional thinking mind example are the 7 deadly sins. 8-dimensional thinking mind. What are the examples here? Now, this is the one I really wanted to get at before I move on to the third one, which is the 7 mental faculties and how I can incorporate them into an explanation for you to grasp how to manifest spiritual upliftance faster, because spiritual upliftance is the answer to get your soul to take control over your mind, meaning bring it to balance, spiritual balance. Because your soul, once it takes over, what it's going to do is chase the darkness out of thy head, out of your head. And then once the darkness leaves out of your head, the darkness that's causing the imbalance to occur will balance out, spiritual balance. So here's what I'm getting at now. 8-dimensional thinking mind. What's an example of an 8-dimensional thinking mind? 4x4. 4x4. What do I mean by 4x4? Now first, don't forget, the 8-dimensional thinking mind are just 8 angles. It's just 8 angles to see in, starting with self. And then up, down, left, and right, in and out. At what's directly in front of you, what's directly behind you. Well, that's 9 directions, but still, moving forward. Here, what do I mean by the 4x4? Now, what I've noticed here, that even Ray Charles can see, like literally, Ray Charles could literally see the exact same thing I see in regards to what is going on with the spiritual war. In this spiritual war right now, there are spiritually balanced good people being attacked by spiritually evil dead people. So spirit BGs being attacked by spirit EDs. Spirit BGs being attacked by spirit EDs. That's how I got it set up. And the thing is, and I can see the 4 things that the spirit EDs did to take control over us. And I can see the 4 things that the spirit BGs need to do to get out of the spirit EDs trap, you see. That's just an example of an 8-dimensional thinking mind. You can see it however you want to see it, but I just see 8 things in total here right now, or 4 things from each side. That the 4 things that the evil part has done at first to ensure that the good would not be able to live, and the 4 things that it had in the beginning as well, or in the first place. Because let's never forget, evil is not smart. Evil is not well calculated. It just takes everything that we are and that we meant for good and flips it for evil. You see, that's what it does. That's what the spirit EDs are doing, meaning the spiritually evil dead people. What they are doing is taking everything that the spirit BGs meant for good, meaning the spiritually balanced good people for good, and they are flipping it for evil. Everything. Now, what are the four things that I see? Trust the spirit, respect the soul, reject all evil, and dominate space or dominate the grounds. But here's the thing. What the spirit EDs did is they came in and made us distrust the spirit. They made us disrespect the soul. They made us accept all evil. And then they dominated our space. They did those four things. So we need to do the other four things to take it all back. Endor Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. Reverse everything that the enemy meant for evil back to good. It's all just going back to normal. So what is trust the spirit, respect the soul, reject all evil, and dominate the grounds? What else does that say? It also says reawakening, reincarnation, resurrection, domination. Those are the four things that we all need to do right there. And then the four things that the evil dead people did to stop that was trick talk, foundational corruption, murder, no, Cat Williams' voice, and then dominate the grounds. Same thing, just the reverse, you see. That's an example of an eight-dimensional thinking mind from my current perspective. See that it is always just the spiritually evil dead people or the spirit EDs attacking the spiritually balanced good people or the spirit BGs. You see, it's always the same thing. Everything. It's always the same answer. Moving forward. So, nine-dimensional thinking mind. Nine-dimensional thinking mind. What's a good example you can use to enhance and or rise yourself up to a nine-dimensional thinking mind? Go look at that taxonomic hierarchy. Go look at that taxonomic hierarchy and go look at the ones that start from species to dominion. Look at the one that starts from species to dominion, right? That's the one. Go take a look at that one. But the taxonomic hierarchy, that's a way to have a nine-dimensional thinking mind exercise there. It's the way to gain a nine-dimensional thinking mind faster. It's just by studying up on that taxonomic hierarchy just a little bit. Learn about the genus and learn about us, the sapien species, the sapien genus, and things of that nature. Learn about us, right? That's a nine-dimensional thinking mind exercise right there. The taxonomic hierarchy, studying that and learning it. Now, before I move on, because that's all I wanted to tell you for that second one. Now the third one, the seven mental faculty senses. You all need to listen to the true God more. The God that serves you, the soul that serves you inside of you. You all need to listen to it more. Now, from what I've studied, we got seven senses, right? We were told that we have six, and the sixth sense ain't even got a name. It's just told it's the sixth sense. What kind of sense? It just says sixth sense. And then we were also told to believe or look at the first five. So, all of this information that I'm kicking out to the world here will help all of us realize just exactly how powerful we all truly are beyond the lies and how we can apply them to actually defeating the oppressive, spiritually evil dead people body. Seven senses, right? Now, this is also going to tie into the other two right here, other four things I've said earlier. It's also going to tie in. So, the seventh sense is called the divine vision. Divine vision. You know what you can see that as? Self. Spirit, soul is self, you. Meaning you and how you can see you. That's the divine vision right there. That's how you can see it. And you want to know what that divine vision is? An aspect of the crown chakra, because it's called the Sudarshan chakra. It's called the Sudarshana chakra. What is a chakra? A chakra is, in Indian thought, each of the centers of spiritual power in the human body. Spiritual power. What is power? Power is the ability to do something or act in a particular way, especially as a faculty or quality. What is spiritual? Spiritual is something relating to and or affecting the human spirit or soul, as opposed to material or physical things. You all are slaves to the manna. When you all need to be servants of the spirit soul. Service of yourself. Not service of what's external of you. You can't serve two masters because you will either abhor the first and love the second. You know how the parable goes. Moving forward, right? So the seventh sense is a divine vision, a sense of divine vision, or a sense of auspicious vision. And with that power right there, it gives you the ability to have a tap into a nine-dimensional thinking mind space, meaning knowledge of what is highest above, knowledge of what's lowest below, knowledge of good, knowledge of evil, knowledge of what's internal, knowledge of what's external, knowledge of what's directly in front of you, and knowledge of what's directly behind you. Notice how each of them has a you at the end of it. Self. Spirit soul, the divine version. You are the divine essence. You are. Self is you. You are the divine self. So, that being said, 6, right? Or second. The sixth sense, the seventh sense is divine vision. The sixth sense is a sense of self-importance or self-esteem. A person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. That's what the sixth sense is, a sense of self-esteem or self-importance. So that means the sixth sense is a sense of spirit soul esteem or a sense of spirit soul importance. You see, the first angle once again. And then the fifth sense is a sense of hearing that comes out of the throat chakra. The sense of hearing is an aspect of the throat chakra. The sense of self-esteem or a sense of self-importance or the sense of spirit soul importance or the sense of spirit soul esteem that comes from the third eye chakra. That's the third eye chakra's aspect. The sense of divine vision is of the crowns. Moving forward. Hearing is of the throat. Feelings, as I said earlier, of the heart. Remember, and the heart chakra is unhurt, unstruck, and unbeaten. Unhurt, unstruck, and unbeaten. Your heart chakra sees in 6 different ways, or should I say 5, actually, because you are the 6 that it sees, or the 6 that it is constituent of. So 6 different ways, regardless. Your heart chakra sees in 6 different ways that you don't see. But once you tap into what you are that is seeing it, because let's not forget, the heart chakra is you. It's a service energy of you. Your heart chakra is service energy. The heart chakra is a service energy. All the chakras are service energies. They all are. And to finish that definition, I was cooking up. So the chakras are your spirit soul's abilities to do something. That's what the literal definition of a chakra is. That's what the literal meaning of a chakra is. Your spirit soul's ability to do something. So the chakra is literally all of the chakras. They are all your spirit soul's ability to do something. Your self's ability to do something. Knowledge of them. Soul fusion. Reincarnation. That's what the soul fusion is. Reincarnation, yeah? Moving forward now. Your sense of sight. Your sense of feel comes from the heart chakra. And your feeling is nothing but something good at all times. At all times, your feeling is good. Sense of sight comes from the solar plexus chakra. Sense of taste comes from the sacral chakra. And sense of smell comes from the root chakra. Is this information true? Is this information accurate? Who knows? It's up for you to decide. I'm just going to tell you it because I know, based on what I am personally experiencing right now, it's going to raise your spiritual vibrations through the literal infinite roof and cause your soul to take control over your mind, meaning push all the darkness out. Walk good forever. If you know these things and know how they all connect, this is how it'll work. So, why do I just mention the senses as the third thing that I want to incorporate with this video? Because all that I said to you, I want you to come to your senses, meaning where you started in the beginning. Come back to that and incarnate back into the flesh. Gain that knowledge, accept it, and apply it. Gain the knowledge, accept it, and apply it. And use it to dominate your grounds. Gain this knowledge, accept it, and apply it, and use it to dominate the grounds. To dominate the grounds you stand on. Why do I keep saying dominate the grounds, though? Why do I keep saying that? That's an important piece right there. Because right now, currently, according to my 8-dimensional view, 4x4 play, the spiritually evil dead people are in control of the grounds. The spirit EDs are in control of the grounds, and due to the spirit EDs being in control of the grounds are negative, you see. But if the spirit BGs take control, meaning go through their spiritual reawakening, trust the spirit, meaning go through their soul fusion reincarnation, respect the soul, meaning go through their resurrection, come to their senses, face all evil and reject it. Now that you have come to your senses, you can now see what evil is, you see. This is another reason why I wanted to mention the senses, because once you come to your actual 7 senses, you will be able to see what evil is and reject it all. You see what I'm saying? And then once you're able to reject all evil, you'll find that the grounds you stand on, that they're conquering, are also a constituent of you, meaning the earth star chakra, meaning the grounds you stand on, meaning the foundational common grounds we all stand on. These foundational common grounds are also a constituent of us. Also. So meaning the grounds themselves are an aspect of nature. Why do we not have control of them? Because here's the reality as well. We are the spiritually balanced good people. Naturally, we all are. We came from it in the beginning, remember? In the beginning was the word, soul. Now, was the actual word soul in the beginning? No, I'm just saying it like that because of that first thing I mentioned about the chakra hierarchy flip. The soul became the flesh. We came from the soul. We came from unconditional love. Believe whatever you want. I'm just going to believe in this because it makes more sense to me. But all of those things, I wanted to put them in this explanation for this video here. With the beginning with reading the Bible, and then labeling, describing, and the spiritual incarnation process until this very moment in the present, where I'm getting ready to close the video out. I appreciate you for watching if you did. May you have learned something truly, truly spiritually uplifting. And within superior benevolence. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Just going to say this randomly. This is not a victim mentality. Just aware of what struck me, past tense. Aware of what strickens we, present tense. And aware of what will not stop striking us at all, destiny, or future tense. Oh, another way you can see that 4-dimensional thinking mind, by the way, too. Past, present, destiny, ending. Or start, duration, plans, destination, beginning, middle, strategies, point, however you like to see it. But that 4-dimensional thinking mind aspect, the first step into the astral realm, start looking at that with a little bit more fruitful detail if you wouldn't mind. I don't desire to be your... It's not about a competition with me. Let me say that first. It's not about a competition with me. It's just about the awareness and knowledge of what needs to be stopped. The spiritually evil dead people. I don't desire to be the spiritually good and balanced people's king or leader. I only desire to do or say things to the spiritually balanced good people that will defend and protect them from the strikes of the spiritually evil dead people. Therefore, love your neighbors, you love yourself. Matthew 22:39. Defend your neighbors, you defend yourself, at least those who are worthy and have gone through the spiritual reawakening process, and then the spiritual soul fusion, or the soul fusion, and then they'll come into their senses, resurrection, and then the domination of their own personal spaces, meaning their good and balanced nature takes over their grounds. Those who are worthy to defend. Be lifted in the spirit and walk good forever. Peace, love, unity, and advancement to you all, my family.